Hi everyone, welcome back to another health and recovery update. There have been quite a few updates since my last video. I've now had my blood work, my pelvic ultrasound, and my pap test. So today I want to sit down and talk through the results where things go from here. There are definitely some reassuring things, but I'm also at the point where I'm still having questions about what's been causing my symptoms. So, as you guys saw, I wasn't looking at the camera, I was looking at my desk. I have everything typed out and for what I want to say, so I am actually just gonna read off of it. So, right now, let's touch base on my blood work results. So I got my blood work done so my doctor's appointment was August 11th, and I booked my blood work for August 13th. So first, let's talk about blood work. Overall, most of it came back within normal ranges, which is obviously reassuring. Then my CBC was essentially normal. My iron and ferritin were normal. My thyroid was normal. My fasting glucose and A1C were normal. My kidney function was normal. And my porlicate was also within range. There were a couple of things that stood out. One of them was my testosterone, which was elevated at 1.97, compared with the lab's reference range of up to 1.67. My free testosterone was still within the lab's range, as was my DHEA-S. So that's something to discuss further than jumping into the conclusion about what it means. So overall, my blood work was reassuring, but it didn't really answer the bigger questions I have been trying to figure out. My ultrasound results, I got my ultrasound done on Monday morning at 9 a.m. and I had my results by 3 p.m. Monday afternoon. So a little background is the next was my pelvic ultrasound, which I had on August 24th, which was Monday. The ultrasound came back normal. My uterus was described as normal in size, contour and appearance. The endometrial lining was normal, and no polyps were identified. Both ovaries were also described as unremarkable, and there were no abnormalities or free fluid. So again, this is reassuring. I'm glad nothing concerning showed up. Like, I'm glad that there's no cancer, like no cervical cancer, no uterine cancer, like, or ovarian cancer. Like, that's also what the concern was for the ultrasound as well. So I had a normal ultrasound where it looked at my bladder and the outside of everything, and then I had what you call a pelvic one, which was inside to actually look at the size of the cervix, the uterus, the ovaries, to see if there's any fibroids or cancer, like anything like that. At the same time, a normal ultrasound doesn't necessarily explain chronic pelvic pain or painful periods. I've been dealing with painful periods since I was around 13, along with pelvic pain before, during, and after my cycle. So I still feel like there is a question that needs to be answered. Now we'll talk about the pap test. The pap test is totally unrelated to what I'm actually trying to find answers about. Totally unrelated of diagnosing PMOS or endometriosis or fibroids. It has nothing to do with that. Pap tests are for you to check to see if you have cervical cancer. It has nothing to do with menstrual cycles. So then yesterday, which was the 25th of August, I had my pap test and my health follow-up. The pap test itself went fine. Now I'm just waiting for those results. So that's another piece of the puzzle that isn't available yet, and I am going to wait for an actual result before drawing up any conclusion. So women for pap tests, they get them every 2 years once you hit 25. My last couple have come up normal, like there was never negative or positive. It's been normal, no cancer whatsoever. So I am leaning towards, like, my pap test will come back as normal. There's gonna be no concerns, so I'm not really worried about the pap test. It's just good to have. So now let's talk about what my doctor recommended yesterday as a result to my blood work and my ultrasound. So the results to the next step, during my appointment, we also talked about what to do next. My doctor recommended an IUD as the next step for managing my menstrual symptoms. I understand why that was recommended, but I'm honestly not sure that I'm ready to go straight into the IUD, which is another form of birth control, except it just automatically is. It's actually, the IUD is put into your uterus and it stays there. And the fact is, it's another form of birth control, but I was on the birth control, like on the pill, since I was 17 to 28. So I'm going to do the math quickly and see exactly how long that was for, so that I can give you guys a better answer to why this decision does not make sense to me, or why I feel so, like, not happy about it. So I stopped at 28 and I started at 17, so 28 minus 17. So I was on birth control for 11 years, and I've been off of it for now 7 years, because I ended it about this time. I think it was before I started my relationship. And so if it wasn't changing my symptoms at all, like I wasn't regulating my period, it wasn't lightening my menstrual cycle, it wasn't lightening the pain I was feeling, there's really no reason for me to go back on it. So yeah, I was on birth control from approximately 17 to 28, and for me, it never really resolved the problems I was having with my menstrual cycle. So before making that decision again, I would personally like to understand more about what's happening. So my plan is, because I have the IUD booked for September 15th, I was also talking to my mom about it yesterday, and a family friend of my mom's, like a girlfriend of my mom's, her son's girlfriend has an IUD, and she lives with, the girlfriend lives with her boyfriend, and she's been having a lot of problems, like not feeling well, being tired, and so on and so forth. So what I want to investigate is, I would like to talk about whether further evaluation is appropriate, potentially with a gynecologist or someone who has more specific experience with conditions such as PMOS, which was previously known as PCOS. The name change was made in May of this year, of 2026. So instead of it being polycystic ovarian syndrome, it is polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome, because not every woman that has it has the cysts on the ovaries. So just because my blood work came back normal and my ultrasounds came back normal does not necessarily mean that I don't have PMOS or endometriosis or endometriosis. I'm not saying I have these conditions. I'm saying that I want to understand whether any of them could potentially explain what I've been experiencing. Because having normal blood work and a normal ultrasound doesn't automatically explain why I've had painful periods since I was 13. So the bigger picture is that, so right now I feel like I'm also making sourdough bread right now, you guys, so that was just the timer. So right now I feel like I am in a bit of an in-between stage. The initial testing has been done. Some things have come back reassuring. I'm still waiting for the pap test results, but I still don't have an answer for the symptoms I've been experiencing for years. I'm grateful that the results were normal, but I'm also allowed to ask, okay, if everything looks normal, what do we look at next? So like, I don't necessarily want to go back on birth control. My doctor just kind of said, really didn't give me the option of saying, like, I would like to further look at things, like I would like a second opinion, because I know a gynecologist will do an MRI and other tests because that's what they specialize in. And like, I already know birth control didn't work for me the first time. It essentially just never helped. And like, it's not saying like what didn't help me doesn't help other women, but like, I don't want to go and get an IUD and then have even more pain, when if she can't put in the IUD, she's going to refer me to a gynecologist anyway to get me put under so that they can put it in. So to me, it's just like, why not just refer me to a gynecologist to get more tests done to see whether or not there's something there. So I guess I'm going to keep listening to my body, keep asking questions, and keep advocating for myself. This isn't about assuming that something is wrong. It's about wanting to understand my body more before deciding what treatment makes sense for me. So that's the update. Blood work done, ultrasound done, pap test done, answers still being investigated. Thank you for following along with my health and recovery journey. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.